everyone. Welcome to the Underdog Show. My name is Kate Solomon, and my two colleagues are Jeremy Anchetta and Andrew Rich. And first up on today's episode is the preview of Friday's game, the Vikings against the Saints.
Jeremy, what's your take on this game?
Let me tell you something. There shouldn't be a preview for the game. Okay, the Vikings are trash. The Saints are good.
We know Kirk struggles.
And the Saints. Okay, here's what I'm saying. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Prime Kirk is not good.
Prime Kirk is not it. But
Christmas Day.
Okay, the Saints. Last week, I'm going to give them an exception. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. It's a fact.
And I don't know about that.
They only
crack under pressure, but we'll get that later.
They crack under pressure.
They do crack under pressure. Andy Reid is known for cracking under pressure. We'll get to that later, though.
But he won the Super Bowl last year. Okay,
it's a hot take from
it's a hot take. I'm saying you got Drew Brees. He just came off a rib injury and lost to the Kansas City Chiefs by 3.
Here's the thing, though. If Drew Brees is just coming off the rib injury, is he going to be able to have his full capacity?
I mean,
he looked really bad. Beginning of the game last week.
Oh yeah.
He started the game last week 0 for 6 with a pick. That's how he started the game.
That can't happen against the Chiefs, but that can happen against the Minnesota Vikings.
Dude, I don't know, because the Vikings have weapons. You have Adam Thielen, you have Justin Jefferson, you have Kyle Rudolph, you have Dalvin Cook. If you give them opportunities to score. If you give them opportunities,
now we're just talking about the Saints offense. I haven't even touched on the defense. Their defense is lighting up the NFL league.
That is true.
Lighting up.
It's true.
But then again, so is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, but Saints run defense, Saints pass defense, they are playing lights out.
The Saints front seven is sick.
I agree. I'm not denying
it's
that.
Sick. And then you got Marshawn Lattimore. I just don't see a way that the Vikings pull off the upset.
I think the Vikings will be able to put up points, but I don't think the Vikings will be able to stop.
I think that I don't think they'll be able to pull off the upset, but I do think that with Drew Brees being hurt, that there is an up chance that if their defense isn't on the money, then it could just be
if they pressure Drew Brees, they win the ball game. Yeah. I'm just saying.
He got sacked 30 yards.
I'm picking the Saints to win the game. They got Alvin Kamara. They got Michael Thomas. Or they don't have Michael Thomas. He's out.
The Vikings had one.
Vikings have weapons, but they don't have a quarterback.
They don't have enough. They don't have enough.
Justin Jefferson literally said during that game,
beat the
Saints.
Saints.
Cousins to beat Drew Brees, my guy. You can't.
Did you see that? Did you see that post game interview? Yes. Justin Jefferson is like, I don't trust Kirk. he
does
flat
not
out said it.
That you can't say that. First of all, you cannot say that in front of.
That's a rookie, dude.
Trust
That's
your
a
quarterback
rookie.
as a rookie.
That's
all right.
Yeah.
So now
that's a blow.
I think that team is in shambles, and I don't think it's going to work out well.
Well, clearly, because if he's saying that, then there's obviously no chemistry between.
No.
Dude,
there's
shambles.
They're in shambles.
They're in shambles.
They're 6-8, dude. NFC player.
They're 6. You just said it. They're 6-8.
They're 6-8.
They're 6. That's a losing record. Last time I checked, that's a losing record.
That is a losing. Well, it is a losing record right now. But if they even beat the Saints, they're the best they could do is 8-8, which isn't good enough for the NFC.
No way. The tough NFC. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the NFC is.
You got the Rams. You got the entire. First of all, you got the NFC West. 3 teams. 3 teams could effectively make it. The Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals could effectively make it. That's 2 wildcard spots gone, plus a division spot. Then you got one more spot. 6-8 Vikings are not making a wildcard spot.
Actually, no. Let's talk about the Steelers. Let's talk about the Steelers. Let's talk about first off, Juju Smith-Schuster.
All right.
I got a lot to say about this man.
I have a lot to say about Juju Smith-Schuster. Let me tell you what. They lost to the Bengals, not because of Juju Smith-Schuster, but as a result of Juju Smith-Schuster's actions.
He became a target.
I think, here's what I think Juju has become. He's had this mentality that obviously he's taken the wide receiver 1 position after Antonio Brown has left. And I think that him being the oldest and the vet on the team as a wide receiver, he's kind of taken this mentality that he's obviously gained social media attention and social media traction from basically everyone that doesn't even follow football knows who Juju Smith-Schuster is just based on social media. And I think that it all kind of went to his head, and it went to his head really, really fast, and didn't see the repercussions. And you have to like in my opinion, you have to earn something to do. Like, dancing on people's logos, you have to earn that. Like, we were 11-0, and then he started to be like, yes, we're 11-0, like we're doing something, and then he started to like kind of break that like bond and the vibe that the Steelers were going on, and just like start hating on other teams, which is just not sportsmanlike.
It's not the Steelers brand.
Made a target. Clearly,
it's not with the Roonies. Not with the Roonies.
Frankly, as a Steelers fan, I'm frankly embarrassed that
I'm so embarrassed
that he did that. I think that, first of all, it's an extremely disrespectful thing to do, to dance on someone's logo. We've seen players like Shannon Sharp, we've seen Chad Ochocinco, we've seen players do things. We've seen players do things that are disrespectful, but they don't do it in front of them before the game. Before the game,
it does is just it angers these guys to just keep going after them, and it honestly makes Juju look like a complete idiot, idiot. And then every single right to just tear that guy to shreds.
Oh yeah, I mean, when you're playing in the National Football League against a division rival and you dance on their logo before the game, you can't expect not to be popped on a drag route.
Like, and if he was producing. And if he came out that game,
and he came out that game, boom, right off the bat, 60-yard, and then he was racking up yardage and touchdowns. Like, I don't understand. Like, okay, Juju's playing, he's balling, and we're winning.
But Juju hasn't been playing all season.
But he hasn't he hasn't had 100-yard games. He hasn't had a 100-yard game since Antonio Brown left the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think,
in my opinion, he hasn't been strong enough to be wide receiver one.
He's not. In my opinion, Deontay Johnson.
I'm pretty sure. I think
Antonio Brown left. Juju was wide receiver one. I was like, this man has to work on the offseason in order to become not necessarily Antonio Brown, but the figure that Antonio Brown was in leading the wide receiver offense. And he has done the complete opposite. I don't like his rookie season. He did amazing because he was only, single covered. But now that he's like double covered, and honestly, sometimes even single covered, like he can't figure it out. Like, and he's still stuck after he's been on the team for 4 years. He can't figure it out. Still,
he's not a deep threat like Claypool.
He's the
like
number one, number two wide receiver,
and that's sad. Like, fourth year, like he needs to step it up.
He needs to step it up.
The only reason he thrived is because Antonio Brown was there eating up those double coverages,
triple coverage, like it's nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Juju had 3 catches. Juju had 3 catches for 15 yards and a fumble last week.
Yeah, and that's embarrassing.
Horrendous.
That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing after he danced on the logo pregame to a 2-11 team.
Yeah. Now 3-11.
In my opinion, if the Steelers could trade Juju, and I honestly don't think that we'd suffer.
We would not. We could get value out of him.
Get value added.
He felt an obligation.
If Juju go to like a know-nothing team, like a team that didn't have any receivers, like the football team, who's kind of struggling on that sense. If we gave Juju to a team like that that's just struggling on the offensive side and got, I don't know, either a draft pick or valuable players on the O-line, something along the lines that could potentially help us, then that would be incredible. And also, Juju takes up so much of our salary cap, and the Steelers don't have that much salary.
Is he still on his rookie deal?
I mean, he's gonna get signed to some sort of
right
at some case, right? I mean, like right now he's on the rookie deal, but he's gonna want money.
He's gonna want money.
I think the one downside to possibly getting rid of Juju is he's a red zone threat. He has 7 receiving touchdowns this year, so I think
in the red zone.
Right. Well, not in the red zone, but he has 7 receiving touchdowns, and most of those come from short yardage in the red zone. So that's just. And you have your deep threats. Your deep threats, Claypool. Your medium threats, Deontay, and then Juju's more of the short threat guy.
And that's
I just feel like he felt an obligation.
Go, Jeremy.
I just feel like, in terms of his dancing, I felt like he felt an obligation to his TikTok followers and not to the Steeler fan base. And I feel like he mixed those 100%. Two. He mixed 100%. Those two up so that real Steeler fans did not want to dance. We do not if you are a Steeler fan and you are living in Pittsburgh,
there's a reason why the Steelers don't have cheerleaders or a mascot.
Yep.
There's
we
a
don't
reason.
like that. That
We don't
stuff doesn't
like
fly.
that. We don't like that. We don't support that.
But
The Steelers are an old traditional organization.
Yes, he has millions of TikTok followers who love it, but they're not all Steeler fans.
And they don't care what he does.
Don't want him dancing on logo.
The TikTok people don't care what he does on the field. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And if you look at the caption, I forget what the caption was exactly that he posted on the Bengals, but it was like, they told me not to keep dancing on the logos and to be myself, but like whatever.
If he feels like dancing on followers. Yeah, if he feels like dancing on logos is himself,
then that's
kind of
he needs to grow up.
He needs to grow up because that's, first of all, it's disrespectful. Like, you're saying yourself is disrespectful.
Childish.
It's immature and it's childish. And
now,
I feel
if he's a 15-year veteran who's been to 5 Pro Bowls and won 2 Super Bowls and he's dancing on logos, maybe. But like,
even then, it's still immature.
He's a wide receiver 1 and has been here for 4 years and hasn't even touched the Pro Bowl.
If he had the stats and the skill level and the mentality of DK Metcalf, because they're roughly similar in age.
You don't see DK
Brown or even old Antonio Brown.
Or even but I'm just saying because DK is young like Juju.
Right.
Like, you wouldn't see an old veteran like Larry Fitzgerald dancing on logo. You would see a young.
Never do
that. I just feel like you don't see this. It's kind of an unprecedented territory right now. You don't see it everywhere. So
right. Okay.
Obviously that wasn't the reason the Steelers lost the game though. So what do we think?
I feel like.
What's wrong with the Steelers? That's the question.
Yeah, I was trying to say, should we shift to just the Steelers?
They don't have a run game.
No run
game. They are. I think like second to last in running game, maybe behind like the Texans. Ben Roethlisberger cannot throw the ball far. He can't throw the ball far. There's something wrong.
He should have had 4 picks.
He should have had 4 picks. Their defense, granted, it's injuries, but it's porous right now. Usually you'd have Bud Dupree and TJ Watt.
Since Bud Dupree got hurt, we've been 0-3 since Bud Dupree.
You'd have Bud Dupree and you'd have TJ Watt and even Spillane, who replaced Devin Bush. Yeah. You'd have those 4 guys and you'd just be able to rush 4 and get sacks and get pressure in 2 seconds. But now we're gonna have to rush like 5 or 6 and stack the box, and we don't have our linebackers can't drop back into coverage, and that's exposing our secondary, who's also injured.
And here's what I have to say. The Steelers are the most predictable offensive team I've probably ever seen in my life.
Yep.
And every single week, it is the same 4 or 5 plays on offense. It's either the slant pass to Deontay, who then runs up the field, or the random Hail Marys that
triple coverage
likes to throw to Claypool.
Yeah.
And it just like, it's always the same exact plays. And at this point in time, there's enough film, because there have been 15 weeks of the NFL. There's enough film where teams can just watch, 5 games and just figure out the way Ben Roethlisberger works. And Randy Fichtner, it's the same thing. And now that Ben, like, everyone knew that Ben is like obviously fast out of the pocket. He has what does he have? Like a 2.7 second release coming out of the pocket.
Next Gen Stats by Amazon.
Exactly. But now all the teams are doing is the defenses are putting 9 in the box. They're literally putting 9 in the box and then
they're not respecting the run because we don't have a run game.
We don't have a run game. But they're putting 9 in the box.
Play action means nothing.
Ben almost threw a pick because of that. Claypool ran a slant route in the last game, and the Cincinnati linebacker it was a play action play. Cincinnati linebacker had no reason to respect the run because we had not run the ball more than 3 times in that entire game. So
I think
even though we don't have a run, it's so evident how big the run game matters. We need to emphasize that on offense. And it has been said week in and week out that the Steelers need to continue to push the run game. And we have been doing the complete opposite.
Successful teams in this league have a good run game.
Tomlin said that we need to continue pushing the run game. And I'm not seeing any of that.
Jeremy, your face is going. Oh.
Good. I just think
they're very predictable and it's biting us in the butt.
I think that the Steelers have no chance at going far in the playoffs unless there's an extreme turnaround within the run game. the defense starts stepping up, and Ben Roethlisberger makes a dramatic improvement. Like it was going at the beginning of the season when James Conner was balling, Ben Roethlisberger was balling, and the defense was the number one defense in the NFL, like it should be.
They need to get back to the 11-0 Steelers. They need to get back
to the 11-0 Steelers. Granted, the schedule is easy, but against the Titans, we were smoking them. Baltimore was a good game. Like we were blowing out the Browns. I just feel like if we get back to that form and Ben Roethlisberger starts making his throws, you get James Conner back, he starts balling, getting us at least 3 to 4 yards of carry rather than what we're averaging like 1.5 yards of carry. If we get back to that efficient-ish run game, we just need a little bit more. Defense starts stepping up a little bit more. I just feel like that's the only way we can legit go far in the playoffs. Otherwise, we're first round pick to draft a running back. We get Etienne or Najee Harris, and we get a running back, something like that.
Dude, Travis Etienne.
Our O-line's in shambles.
Well, we got DeCastro's out, and Pouncey's been injured, and
Villanueva got absolutely bodied against the Bengals. Yeah. Bodied.
So
he's just getting old. They're all getting old.
But if you can get a new young.
They were in
if you can get a young quarterback, a young running back, someone good, that's going to revitalize an offense. All right, to finish our first Underdog episode out, let's say our MVP candidates so far through week 15.
Ooh. Top 3 for me. I think there's only three that are actually in contention. Yeah. I love Josh Allen, okay? Russell Wilson's been balling, kind of. But in my opinion, Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook are great players. I think Dalvin Cook's an excellent offensive player of the year choice. But in my opinion, there are 3 and only 3 that have a shot at winning. And I think it's Patrick Mahomes, I think it's Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's Derrick Henry. And
I would
when you look at it, every week, Derrick Henry becomes more the favorite, in my opinion. Every week, he continues to rush for 150 yards. He continues to carry literally that entire offense. And I think Tannehill's playing great, but without Derrick Henry, that team is not making the playoffs at all.
It'd be nothing.
It'd be nothing. Without that presence in the backfield, it's just Patrick Mahomes is balling. Obviously, he's obviously in everyone else's opinion. Go ahead, Kate.
No, I was gonna say everyone knows who Patrick Mahomes is, and obviously you can see what he's done to this Chiefs offense. Well, we were talking about this the other day, is that if you replace Patrick Mahomes with
Josh Allen
with Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, or even Sam Darnold, honestly, that team and
under an Andy Reid offense, it will be good. It will win the division, but it obviously won't be that explosive firepowering. I mean, maybe with Josh Allen because he has that arm talent. But if you replace him with Sam Darnold, if you replace him with Russell Wilson, if you replace him with virtually any other above average quarterback, that team is going to win the division. That team is going to have a winning record. That team is going to be one of the 1 through 4 seeds. And I just feel like
what he does, how.
But obviously Mahomes is the best.
Is unbelievable. Just the way he always can get the ball off in a fashion that I've literally.
He makes plays that no one else makes.
Ben Roethlisberger when Ben Roethlisberger was in his first 5 seasons.
Yeah, he makes plays that no one else in the league makes. But I think my favorite is got to be Aaron Rodgers. I think he's only thrown 4 picks this year.
He's the perfect quarterback for that offense.
Yep. Yeah. And he's also just
he does have a crazy O-line.
He's had an amazing career. Think about that.
Yeah.
His career, 400 touchdown passes, that's
he deserves an MVP. I honestly think it's between Henry and Rodgers.
Henry
or Rodgers.
The award isn't the best player, it's the most valuable player. It's the same reason why LeBron James hasn't won MVP instead of Giannis. Giannis is the most valuable player on that team. LeBron has AD, LeBron has a supporting cast, LeBron has good coaching.
Right.
But Derrick Henry is the most valuable player in the NFL.
That's a really great point.
Team.
That's a great point.
I would agree with that.
Patrick Mahomes is the best player. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players, top 3, if not.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is the most valuable player, and I think that's what needs to be taken into account.
Honestly, what you were saying before, if you took Derrick Henry out of the equation for Tennessee, they'd be nothing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then with him there, they're obviously playoff contenders and more.
Yeah, and they made it to the conference. He carried them to the conference championship, literally. Mm-hmm. He beat the Baltimore Ravens. He beat the
remember in the Steelers game against the Titans in week, I don't remember, 7, 6, whatever it was.
It was early in the season because
we shut out Derek. Like the Steelers defense shut out Derek Henry.
We neutralized Derek Henry in the first half.
And they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. They had no other options that they could possibly go to, or that worked.
But he's a second half player because he wears defenses down, and then he starts running, and their offense starts cooking, and that's why the Steelers blew that first half lead. Because they shut down Derrick Henry, they went up 21-0, and then he started going, and the Titans started coming back.
And the defense got tired.
Yeah, and that's why I think Derrick Henry should be the MVP. I don't think they're going to give it to him, but I personally think it should be. I think it's going to go to Patrick.
I was like, I think that he deserves it, but I don't think that they're going to give it to him, and I think they're going to give it to Aaron Rodgers.
I think it's going to be Rodgers.
I think it's going to be Rodgers or Mahomes.
But I think Derrick Henry deserves it more.
I mean, Mahomes won last year. I don't know if they're going to give it to him twice in a row.
They're not going to give it to him again.
No,
I think Lamar Jackson
Rodgers. Lamar Jackson got it last year.
Oh, Mahomes was 2019, right? Or 2018.
They gave it to Mahomes, and I don't think he was the most valuable player per se. He was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Episode 1 of The Underdog. Thanks for watching.
In the books.
Thanks for watching.